Good evening, everyone. Let me share my screen. I'm Benji Flor, and my co-author is Joshua Michael G. Jonas. And our paper is titled Flipping Church Services in the Height of the COVID-19 Pandemic, Uncertainty and Implications to Spirituality. As we all experience, the COVID-19 pandemic brought many challenges to society that prompted the church to create social media ministries that flip its service. This is also the time where the role of the religious and spiritual interventions were heightened. Holding on to faith to end the pandemic was made possible by the presence of the Manila Cathedral in every home. Thus, the objective of this study is to find out attendance of the Catholic faithful to online daily mass in the Manila Cathedral through Facebook analytics, determine the trends of engagement that led to concept of Simbahay, and explain the implications of Simbahay as a flip service. Simbahay is a mnemonic which I will try to discuss shortly. So I'll just give you a bit of a context of or the premises of the study. So the assumption is that 80% of the Filipino population are Roman Catholics. And the Holy Mass is the highest form of Catholic worship. The Manila Cathedral is considered as the mother of all churches. The non-stop brigade of prayers like the Oratio Imperata for protection against the COVID-19 pandemic. The special intentions are also said in the Holy Rosary that was prepared by Pope Francis, which we do daily. That led us to have spiritual wellness. So spirituality is a coping skill, or maybe more of an adaptation, I would say, a switch off button to negative thinking, depression, and obsessive disorders. It was also achieving a sense of purpose or existence, a sense of connectedness to self, others, nature, and God, or a divine being, a search for harmony, hope, wholeness, or finding what completes you as a person, and a sense of transcendence, or the sense that there is more to life than we see. On the other hand, spiritual health possesses meaning and purpose in life, and having a clear set and media sources serve as contributing factors that an individual considers in what kind of prayer to invoke. Active and receptive prayer processes were contextualized by being done either privately or publicly, and were also affected by the quantity and quality of prayers and factors such as life crisis. The outcomes of prayers include physical healing, psychological health, and spiritual wellness. Thus, this paper attempted to explain the role, importance, and significance of the church and the celebration of religious activities during these trying times of the pandemic through the lens of the relational prayer theory. Prayer inputs, specifically media sources such as television, radio, and social media ministry, serve as channels of communication for Catholics to continue the practice of their faith through many virtual celebrations of the church. Flipping service online allowed Catholics to attend the Holy Mass regularly. Mirroring Basler's relational theory is the following conceptual framework, which we call Simbahay. Simbahay stands for salvation, indulgences, mission, blessedness or blessings, affordances, habitual, altruistic, and yes, we can. So we came up with this model of flip service. As you can see, this model tries to depict the relational theory of Basler. And Simbahay is a fusion of two words, simbahan, which means a church, and bahay means a house. So literally, it means house, or literally the home as the church. So the variables, salvation refers to the desire of the worshiper to be spared from contracting the COVID-19 virus. Indulgence points to the desire of the faithful to be forgiven from their sins. Mission encapsulates that holding masses online can extend the church services to engage with the faithful, despite the absence of physical communion and the rational to continuously provide spiritual nourishment. Blessings or blessedness are those that Catholics must be thankful for from sheer waking up in the morning and receiving help from others and the government. Affordances point to what online Mass have made possible to worshippers. Habitual points to the transformation of flipping the home to become the church, regularly with most doing it on Sundays, holiday of obligation, or special church events that call for the participation of the Catholics. A for altruistic, which alludes to sacrifices that Catholics make to help others. And Y is for yes, we can. Establishes that as worshippers online, there is nothing impossible to a persistent heart. So Simbahay, when practiced, can lead to outcomes such as physical, psychological, and spiritual that could strengthen the Catholic's faith to continuously pray regardless of mode, but with the guidance of the priest, like Father Kali and Father Reggie, the prayerful can be in a better position to be cleansed from sins for eternal salvation. Outcomes were not measured but can be implied based on the trends of number of live views in the online masses. Since only one schedule of the Mass was tracked, that is on Sunday at 8 o'clock in the morning, implications can be drawn to what extent Simbahay was manifested in every worshipper or the faithful. In terms of methodology, we employed the secondary data analysis research design. Secondhand data analysis was based on Facebook analytics of the Manila Cathedral as subject of the study. Data on online Mass attendance was based on the actual number of live views for daily Masses and compared those on the average monthly attendance from March 2020 to March 2021. Data were tracked, encoded, and analyzed and interpreted as determinants of Simbahay, which can be categorized into physical, psychological, and spiritual outcomes. Graphs were likewise created to explain the results and interpreted. The trend in attendance of worshippers served as grounding in interpreting the practice of flip service in the context of COVID-19 pandemic. Data was validated by tracking the live streaming of a Sunday Holy Mass and determining which part of the Mass was most engaging, measured by the highest number of attendees. The results, so in terms of the trends of engagement in Facebook can also refer to the number of those actually seeing or attending the Masses online. Looking at the monthly averages from March 2020 to March 2021, patterns seem to surface a fluctuating trend in accessing the online Masses of the Manila Cathedral held in the mornings. Note that these figures only captured one daily Mass schedule. It could be that the rest of the worshippers have attended other Holy Masses scheduled within the day. And these trends in engagement seem to allude to how worshippers have allocated their time for worship given the predicament that they are in. The huge number of attendees from 69,863 to more than 200,000 per month implies that flipping the home as church has gone a long way. In this graph, results imply that worshippers continue to attend Masses regularly on Sundays, and the scheduled track was the 8 a.m. Mass at the Manila Cathedral. Not shown in this graph is the highest attendance in a daily Mass, which was during the reading of the Gospel that reaches more than 20,000 attendees at any one time. So the FB Analytics provided an anchor to explain the behavior of Catholics during the pandemic. Every practicing Catholic gave an outpour of prayers and intentions to spare themselves and the whole world from the devastating COVID-19 virus, praying more for salvation. People offer indulgences for the benefit of others during this period of trial. It has become a mission of everyone to help make the world a better place. People continue to pray for blessings for family, friends, relatives, and the rest of the world due to the lack of resources limited by lockdowns. The affordances that people get from hearing Mass from home by understanding the words of God better because they can focus to the readings and the sermon. Practices as Catholics during these trying times became habitual. It has become the normal way of life. To be altruistic is to have that unselfish concern for others. If some were to ask if people can thrive in this pandemic, the answer is yes, we can. The church is a vessel of healing in these most trying moments. So what are the implications of Simbahay then as flip service? The flip service points to the new normal of worship. It only means that Catholics have resorted to online attendance to the Holy Mass because there is no other way of doing it as a form of response to crisis communication. Flipping the church led to the development of a new worship culture, which have changed how the Filipino Catholics have transformed the way the online masses were designed. The ability of the church to gather its flock through their social media ministry has successfully delivered and gathered God's followers to join as one church, albeit in their own homes. The mnemonic Simbahay aptly explains why engagement is high. People ought to have a healthy mental health by feeding both psychological and spiritual needs. Through uplifting the church at home, it became the practice to attend online masses that strengthened religiosity. The use of social media to propagate attendance to online masses have created a sense of self-preservation and protection due to this intervention. Being prayerful and holding on to prayer somehow played a significant role in addressing anxieties and reducing uncertainty. In conclusion, these opportunities provided by technology paved the way for people to observe the different points of Simbahay: salvation, indulgences, mission, blessedness or blessings, affordances, habitual, altruistic, and yes, we can. Simbahay posits that the church is not confined to the corners of the physical structure of worship, but the wholeness of people as members of the church and what has been done as followers of Christ, even in the safety of one's own homes. Through Simbahay, prayers are fulfilled and answered, which eventually led to desired outcomes, be it physical, such as health, recovery, surplus of necessities, or psychological, such as happiness, sanity, calmness, or spiritual, such as divine providence and fulfillment. Finally, the pandemic may have become an obstacle to physically attending online masses, but it has also afforded an opportunity to reflect and renew oneself. It became a state of survival in these trying times, and with Simbahay, people will survive the pandemic or beyond. And yes, we can. Thank you.